So in my last few videos, I went in on PlayStation, so now it's Xbox's turn. Also, before we begin, I don't belong to any team in the console war. I have a Switch, PS5, PC, and even an Xbox Series S, even though admittedly that's primarily used for my son to play Roblox on. But I truthfully think it's best for us as gaming consumers that all platforms are successful. The problem I have with Xbox is because they lie to their most loyal consumers after fostering this weird parasocial relationship with their biggest fans. The most recent evidence of this is the now indefinite delay of Black Myth Wukong on the platform. You see, in June, the developer Game Science released a statement indicating that they needed more time for optimization on the Xbox platform. Now, many of us, I'm sure, could look at this statement and draw the most logical conclusion that a relatively small Chinese studio working on their first big-budget AAA game with both limited resources and limited experience dealing with more complex hardware would likely have optimization issues across the board. Also, given that the Series S not only represents the lowest common denominator in the console PC space that most big-budget games attempt to release on, coupled with the fact that the Xbox Series platform also represents the smallest overall install base of the previously stated platforms, most people would reach the now confirmed conclusion that the Xbox Series S was the most likely holdup. It's an unfortunate reality of Xbox's hardware strategy that since they require experience parity between the Xbox Series X and S versions, that many games without massive budgets and resources have trouble getting their games to satisfy this requirement to release day and date across all platforms, or in this case, perhaps not releasing on the platform altogether. The other issue is that the Xbox Series platforms faces that since it's the smallest install base, not only do they offer the smallest potential sales to third-party developers, but they also have the added issue that many of the install base subscribe to Xbox Game Pass, meaning that they spend a not insignificant amount of their available gaming hours engaging with titles primarily on the service. So not only do they offer the smallest volume of customers, but on average those customers have less potential available gaming hours when compared with consumers on competing platforms. It often puts small developers in the uncomfortable position of deciding whether the juice is worth the squeeze, since the smallest platform is more often than not also the most resource demanding. So Black Myth Wukong is delayed on Xbox, and the Series S is the most likely reason why. Also, the developer already addressed it, so everything is all explained and we can all move on, right? Well, unfortunately, someone at IGN in a now deleted tweet at the time floated the idea that the delay on Xbox wasn't for the intended reason that the developer stated about needing more time for optimization, but was actually a possible deal with Sony. It was a dumb idea at the time, and had it ended there, it would not have been worth mentioning. The problem is it didn't end there. You see, in a response Xbox supplied to Judge Corden at Windows Central, Xbox specifically said we can't comment on deals made by our partners with other platform holders. Nobody asked Xbox about a potential deal with another platform. Trust me, I asked Jez myself. So clearly Xbox wanted to put out there that a deal might exist. There clearly wasn't a deal, as we now know, and Xbox wasn't commenting on a deal that they were aware of since no deal ever existed. They just stated a policy to imply that a deal was a possible reason for the delay. Granted, anyone being objective would have had serious doubt about said deal simply because we know what a timed exclusive deal looks like, primarily ones with Sony, and this situation didn't look like any deal we had seen previously. First off, we already knew about a planned Xbox Series version, and in any time deal there would have been no plans to launch on a competing console just to delay that version a few months before launch. Secondly, the whole point of a timed exclusive deal is that the consumer is informed that the game is a timed exclusive simply because the point is to generate software and potential hardware sales for the platform paying for the deal. Lastly, Black Myth Wukong is a single-player game, and when Sony has made exclusive deals with third parties for single-player games in the past, the exclusivity is extended to the PC platform as well, at least for a time. The point of all of this is just to say that it was pretty clear that no deal existed to anyone being objective about the situation, but Xbox was more than happy to imply a deal just to shift accountability away from their own hardware-related issues. Over the past few months, I've been back and forth with Xbox fans on Twitter about this very situation, not because I think Sony is in need of defense, but simply because it was clear that Xbox was lying to its fans, and it bugs me to watch people be willfully deceived for no other reason than brand loyalty. Perhaps that's my fault. I should have just let the situation go and let people believe what they are going to believe. To be honest, that's what happened anyways. But Xbox knew full well what they were doing. They knew that there was no deal, but they were more than willing to put the suggestion out there to cover their own butts. We now have confirmation that there was in fact no deal and that the Series S was the reason for the delay, which unfortunately looks like it may be more of a permanent delay now, as we know the issue Game Science is having is a memory leak. which essentially means that the data gets loaded into the memory and it dumps that temporary data on the back end, and the Series S is having trouble dumping that memory, which causes the RAM to overload. Hopefully, Game Science can eventually get the situation resolved and Xbox players can get a chance to enjoy the game. I just wanted to make it clear that in the order of events, Xbox consciously chose to fuel the console war to shift blame away from themselves, even though they publicly act as if they have no involvement in stoking the discourse. Anyways, that's it for this one, guys. Was I spot on? Was I way off? Let me know down in the comments. And until next time, guys, get awesome.